Hey, what's up guys, Tony here, and I want to talk about Gran Turismo 6 right now because I actually picked it up. I really wasn't sure if I would pick it up, but Gran Turismo has been a big part of my gaming life since Gran Turismo 1, and so there's a part of me, just because like I've been on PC and now I've got PS4, I was like, well, I'm kind of done with PS3, so I wanted to just kind of move on, but there was just something about the game and something about the nostalgia of Gran Turismo that just kind of forced me to pick it up. So I picked it up and I thought, you know what, I haven't done a video in forever and I need to do a video about Gran Turismo 6 because there's some things I think that need to be talked about. So getting started, I just want to say that I think that Gran Turismo 6, it looks pretty damn good. It really does. Like when I first played it, I was kind of like, the graphics are a little meh, but that's because I was going from the component, HD component, you know, and it wasn't as good as the HDMI. So the HDMI looks really good. The game looks really good when I have an HDMI. But when I want to record, I have to go component to the Elgato and then into my computer, and the game just drastically looks different. But it's a noticeable difference. So at full resolution, the game looks really good. It does. I like the environment. I really like the lighting effects that are going on. The interior of these cars, they do look really good. There are some good things about the game. There are a lot of negative things about the game, from my opinion. It is, as someone just sent to me on the PSN a message asking about what my thoughts on the GT6 are. What they said is rinse and repeat. It's essentially rinse and repeat. And I have to agree with that. It is a rinse and repeat game. Some people will call it Gran Turismo 5.5. And there's nothing really innovative about Gran Turismo 6, and my expectations were and are that anytime a new title comes out, that there will be something different, there'll be something new, and it is more or less more of the same. It is the same game as Gran Turismo 5. I mean, the menu system is different, it's facially just different, but when you get beyond just the aesthetics of the game and you go deeper than that, you realize it is the same game. I mean, you've got your different levels, your different classes. I do like how you have to go through certain, like the novice to the B class, the A class, and you can get through these levels, take the test to get on to the next level. That's kind of cool. That's good for people who have never played the game before. That allows you to get comfortable with the game, play the game, and not jump right into stuff that's going to be overwhelming. For veterans of Gran Turismo, it can be a little annoying just because of the fact that every game you get, it's like, oh good, I gotta go through this license testing again. It's not as brutal as before. I think it's like 5. I think it's 5. Yeah, it's 5. It's 5 challenges to show that you're good with these corners, and instead of 10, like 10. It was like, oh my god, 10. So it's good to see that. The one thing I have noticed though that is a little meh, you know, I did like the separation between premium cars and regular cars. The standard cars, because then you knew what you were buying. Now I don't know, I haven't really noticed, and if you do know in the comment section, let me know, but I can't tell the difference between a standard car and a regular car. I can only just guess. I'm like, well, this is not a new car, so I can only assume it's a standard car. Like the Super Impreza 22B, I was expecting it to be a premium car because it's sort of a legendary car, and I figured they'd put the time and effort and energy into making it a premium cockpit. That being said, my expectations were all cars were going to be premium. They spent enough time developing from Gran Turismo 5 to Gran Turismo 6. I thought they had enough time to develop and add on to the number of premium cockpits. Now they might have those coming, but my expectation is that it should have been here on release day. The sounds are still the Gran Turismo sounds. They're not very inspiring sounds. The motors, they're just, like I said, traditional Gran Turismo sound effects. The one thing that does bother me is that the tire screech, the road rumble take precedent over motor sounds, the engine noise, or exhaust tones. And you have a hard time after, if you're screeching your tires, you can't really hear your motor, and you can't decide, you know, unless you have to go visually look, but you can't do by your auditory. You can't figure out, oh, am I bouncing off the rev limiter or not? You don't hear it. It's just, you hear this like ning, 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 but over that it's like, you know, you hear this tire screech and you have no idea what's going on. So the sounds, I think, are a little strange. I would love for like DICE should put out a racing game with the quality of the sounds the sound design, the sound engineering they do. Oh my god, I'd love to hear them do a racing game. That would just blow my mind. So yeah, the sounds are not very inspiring. The car selection, you know, they boast, oh, we've got X amount of cars in Gran Turismo 6. Well, that's great, but when you have 8 S2000s that are different years, but essentially same car, or 2 Ford Mustangs that are the same car, they just cost like double. It's a little annoying. Someone told me to go look at the Skylines. I haven't looked at the Skylines yet. Apparently there's a shitload of Skylines. There's a bunch of RX-7s. The whole idea of just having these repeat cars and say, oh, we have 1,000 cars. Yeah, you have 1,000 cars, but you also have 8 of this car, 5 of this variety, 6, 7, 10 of this particular model. So the variety isn't as exciting as I was expecting it to be. I like how they broke it up, you know, like North America, Australia, or no, it's North America, it's like the Asian Pacific, so Australia and Japan, Europe. So I do like the way it's broken down. I kind of wish it was a little, I think it was I don't remember what Gran Turismo game it was, but they had it broken down. I think it was a world map. I think it was 3 or 4. It's been a while, but I preferred that, and I prefer a used car dealership or used car lot and then a new car lot, putting them all together in the same dealership. I don't know how I feel about that. You go to Ford, you buy all the Fords you can, which is nice. But then again, like I was saying, it'd be nice to see the separation between a premium car and a standard car, just so you know what you're buying. The last thing I want to talk about is the microtransactions. And I touched on this in a stream I had just broadcasted. I touched on the idea of microtransactions. I don't really have a problem with microtransactions in practice, just because of the fact that, you know what, I'm not going to buy money. I'm not going to go on there and spend my own money to get credits. I'm just going to race and play the game. And so it's not really something that's going to bother me. But I know that there's a lot of people that feel as if Polyphony is just selling out. They're trying to make more money off of people. And the thing is, if you have the disposable income and you can afford to blow another 20, 30, 40, 50, 150, $1,000 on Gran Turismo 6, fine, go for it. If you feel that's the only way that you can enjoy the experience of Gran Turismo 6, go for it, knock yourselves out. I'm not going to do that, so it doesn't really bother me. But I do understand that there's something to be said for the grind of Gran Turismo, and so people who can just, you know, if you grind to get a car that costs 20 million credits or whatever, and somebody is like, oh, I just bought it, you know, that makes you like, well, I worked for mine. Like, you just bought yours, you know. So I understand there's going to be friction in there, but for me, what it boils down to, Gran Turismo has always been a single player game. It's not something that I'm going to jump on and be like, oh, I'm going to get into a racing league or something in Gran Turismo. Like, that doesn't appeal to me at all. So that's why I don't really believe it's that big of an issue. If it suddenly became, like, if Gran Turismo 6 was had a bigger online presence, I feel as if then at that point, if it became like a pay to win sort of aspect, like only those who actually spent the real money in Gran Turismo to get credits and buy these really expensive cars are always winning, suddenly you're like, oh, I've got a pay to win game on my hands, then I would have a big problem with it. But like I said, where I stand, Gran Turismo has always been a franchise that's a single player experience. It wasn't until Gran Turismo 5 last game that I actually got into the online part of it, and I didn't really play it that much. I wasn't that big of a fan. It was only something that my buddies and I did very rarely, and it was cool for like a couple hours, and then I was kind of done with it, because usually what happened is we'd kind of race for a bit, and then we start drifting, and then we start hitting each other, and then people would bounce out, and we'd be stuck with 1 or 2 or 3 people left in that lobby, and we'd just be doing donuts or trying to drift or whatever. And it was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go now and do something else that involves people. So the microtransactions aren't really a big deal to me. I mean, they could be a big deal to you, but for me, they're not, because, like I said, I view Gran Turismo as a single player game that just happens to let you play online. That is, as soon as Gran Turismo becomes like a multiplayer game that has a single player campaign or single player aspect that nobody plays, like Battlefield's a great example. It's a multiplayer game with a campaign that pretty much nobody plays, and they have to put in guns unlockable guns for multiplayer in the single player to force you to play the single player. So when it flip-flops like that, for me at least, Gran Turismo suddenly becomes this multiplayer and then the single player is not all that important. When that flip-flops, then I'll think microtransactions will have a different, I'll have a different opinion about microtransactions. I think I've covered about everything that I wanted to. I mean, like I said, the game, I mean, it looks good. The sounds are just, they're just uninspired. I don't want to say they're terrible because they're not terrible. They're just not inspiring. Like, I'm a car guy. I know car people. Car people want to hear their cars. They want to get in. They want to just hear that big V8 or that turbo 4-cylinder. They want to hear the blow-off valves. They want to hear the superchargers. They want to hear the roar. They want to hear the rumble. They want to hear the cams. They just want to hear that stuff. Like, it's all about the feel. It's not only about going fast. It's about the whole sort of sensory overload of being in an awesome car. The sights, the sounds, the feels, like the controls. You can't really get that, the feels part about it, through a controller, but the sounds, you can really do that, and the sounds are really uninspired. And the other thing is the car modifications. It's been simplified a little bit. It's more or less the same thing that we've always seen. There's nitrous in there now. There are some other things I can't off the top of my head. There's some things that are a little bit different that they sort of compressed. I think it has to do with the transmission. I think it's the transmission. They put the clutch and flywheel package together into one modification instead of, like, you know, the triple clutch, lightweight flywheel where you can buy those individually. They put them into one now. As far as the engine modifications, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that's different, but it's still the simplified version of car modifications. I would have loved to have seen a departure from that into something that is a little bit more in depth, something like a Forza 4, Forza 5, motor swaps, drivetrain swaps. You can go from a front wheel drive to a rear wheel drive, or a front wheel drive to an all wheel drive, or an all wheel drive to rear wheel drive. Those would be cool. A little bit more control over the modifications of your vehicle would be great, because when you get down to it, Gran Turismo is really just like club racing. It's not like a circuit racing. It's not like an iRacing or like an Assetto Corsa. Well, I can't say Assetto Corsa because I barely played it, but like iRacing, you're like, you've got a class of cars and you go and race that. It's just club racing, and you run what you brung, and that's really all it is. So why can't you have these little more in-depth modifications? Oh yeah, and the last thing I want to talk about, and this has been a curse that has been a Gran Turismo curse for a while, is just terrible AI. I mean, the AI is so stupid. They're always slamming on their brakes. That's one thing that I've been griping about for a long time with Gran Turismo, is that it really needs better, more intelligent AI to really make you play the game, make you race the game, learn how to play. If it's supposed to be a driving simulator, you need to really have hard opponents to drive against. I mean, for me, the only way I can enjoy a Gran Turismo game and get the challenge aspect of it is if I go into a race and I am not only an underdog, but I have to be a supreme underdog. Now that everything's gone to performance points, it has to be like 100 performance points under whatever the bar is, and you've got guys who are faster than you who can catch you, but they suck ass in the corners, so you can always just out-corner them, get some distance, but they close the gap on you. That's usually the way it goes, and that's the only way I can get a thrill out of Gran Turismo. Otherwise, you're just mopping, wiping the floor with the AI, and it's just so bad. The AI needs to be improved. It's really bad. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up because I think I'm starting to run out of the things that I've wanted to talk about. I've covered all the bases. Like I said, it looks good, it sounds really bad, the microtransactions don't really affect me, AI is terrible, the engine modifications, the car modifications are more or less the same thing, albeit a little simplified in certain areas. Overall, the question is like, should you buy the game? If you're a long-time Gran Turismo person like myself, and I really wasn't intending to buy the game, but when the game was released, I was kind of like, well, I got, I'm going to do it, because I purchased every other Gran Turismo game, so I might as well. The downside is, and I'll say this in closing, the downside is that Gran Turismo 6 should have been released on the PlayStation 4. They should have waited and developed for the PlayStation 4 and not released on the PlayStation 3. Because the game's going to get overshadowed by a PlayStation 4. It really is. I mean, it's like a previous gen game. You can just tell when you play it, even when you're playing through the HDMI. It just is a previous gen game. So they really should have waited and published it for the PlayStation 4 and not the PlayStation 3. And I think that was sort of a missed opportunity on Gran Turismo's side. I think they're trying to capitalize on those who are going to stay with the PlayStation 3, but they missed it. I think they probably should have waited and developed as a PlayStation 4 title. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think about Gran Turismo 6. I'm interested to read what you guys have to say in the comment section. And so thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I shall talk to you guys later.